We've all heard the saying, work smarter, not harder. To that end, the game development industry is turning to AI. And of course, there's a lot of reasons for this, not the least of which is you don't have to pay those pesky humans. Shell out a one-time fee or some royalties and let Max Headroom do the work for you. Although, let's face it, if we had an RPG generated by Max Headroom, it might actually be interesting, in a weird, over-the-top 80s sort of way. Now, what prompted these AI reflections was the announcement of The Wayward Realms, with its Kickstarter all fired up and headed by a couple of gentlemen who worked on Daggerfall with Bethesda. Now, why is Daggerfall important here? You see, Wayward Realms sports AI-generated content. And if you ever played Daggerfall, you know that it was mostly procedurally generated, while the main quest, including its dungeons and characters and dialogue, were handcrafted. Most everything else was procedurally generated. And if you haven't played Daggerfall, let me just say, you could tell. I mean, you understand the appeal, of course. The Daggerfall map was absolutely honkin' huge, and they had to fill that open world with something. And it appears the Wayward Realms is going to follow suit. Why pay a writer to create all those NPCs and unique dialogues to those vendors and randos on the street, when you can let HAL 9000 do it for you? Except for the fact it's still not human generated. It's a bunch of cold, unfeeling puzzle pieces stuffed together. It's not deliberate. It's an algorithm. Does it have to be cold and lifeless? If you listen to Replica Studios, the answer would be no. They claim to have a rather robust Unreal Engine 5 plugin that generates realistic NPCs. I spent a bit of my time diving into that rabbit hole. Similar claims were made by InWorld and Character AI. And yes, compared to Daggerfall, they are impressive. Yet still, it's painfully obvious that it is not human-generated content. That said, if, like the Wayward Realms, you're going to create a monstrously huge map, you need to fill that map with something. You know, the sort of exciting something that you got in Starfield, right? Oh wait, Starfield didn't have anything that was really cool. At least for me, I'd rather have a much smaller map and human-generated content. As it stands, I'm pretty sure none of these AI systems would generate the room full of plungers that you could find in Fallout 3. And of course, we can all think of those special little areas we ran into in all of these games that were brought to us by a dev being funny, being serious, just wanting to screw with the minds of the player, and any other motivations a human might have toward any other humans. And to me, this matters. Throw a bunch of parts in a room and have an AI assemble them into various things is always going to be a bunch of random parts put together with a set of procedures, not put together by one human thinking something is cool, seeking to evoke some kind of emotion from the player, to a human who's actually doing his or her job, making that content a reflection of their attitudes and their sensibilities and their creative spirit. That's something I can really appreciate. But walking up to an NPC, clicking on a list of keywords, and getting an AI-generated response based off of that, no matter how much takes into consideration my class, my origin story, etc., as they claim will happen in Wayward Realms, it just feels different, cold, uninteresting. A human-generated product, an NPC, has a bit of that human in it. It's not animate, but you can tell it's there with the writing, it's there with the presentation. For me, with AI, it's just another set of assets. It randomly generates character 1 with personality Y and a couple of quest lines, and or a store. In the end, it's busy work for the player. It seems that the devs just can't be bothered to make things unique and interesting, no matter that dev's motivation for turning on AI. The team's too small. They have so much to generate. They have a huge map. And they want the player to be able to click on these keywords and get some kind of dialogue that tailors toward that character that the player's created. It seems obvious that AI, today's AI especially, would really suit that. But for me at least, it defeats the purpose of playing the game. It's busy work. All that crap you gotta do to level up enough to continue the main story. And I have no doubt that playing through enough of the Wayward Realms will lead to the same problems I had with Daggerfall. it just got boring. And to take this a step further, AI-generated conversations still feel weird. It wasn't that long ago that Replica Studios dropped a video of a character wandering around an AI-generated city talking to AI-generated characters. The player, using a headset, would use natural language to talk to NPCs. There is no way that you don't know that this is artificially generated. And here's the thing, even if AI could create wonderful, deep characters, interesting, unique dungeons, I still don't want that. I want to play a game that was generated by a human capable of deliberately making something shocking or funny or horrifying. I want it to be a living consciousness that made the content I'm going to play. Because we see what happens when that content isn't made that way. You get Daggerfall, you get Starfield, and I'm afraid that's what we're going to get in the Wayward Realms. But that's my 2 cents. What do you folks think? Stoked for our AI overlords to provide us our content? What other games have you played that have had huge amounts of AI-generated maps, quests, and dialogue? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.